Thank you, Sabahuddin Bhai, and thanks a lot for to everyone who has joined this webinar. As Sabahuddin Bhai mentioned that for the students who are going to apply for grad school or also for the other opportunities, effective communication is very important. That's why today's topic of discussion is effective communications with prospective advisors for grad school applications, and also other opportunities, because this is not only helpful for grad school applications, but also if you are applying for internships or some other positions. So the lessons which you'll be learning today, they may be useful for all those as well. Let me screen. Where is my screen? Give me a few seconds. Okay. Okay, so hello everyone. So it's those of you who may not know me, as Sabahuddin Bhai mentioned, I am a research associate at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, but currently I'm based at SLAC Laboratory at Stanford University as a visiting researcher, and I do my research as in particle physics. And physics is my background. But yeah, I have been working, volunteering in SSGSA for around last 9-10 years. So I have some experience while mentoring, and also when around 10 years ago when I was an applicant, I also had some my own experiences, how to communicate, and I will share some of those my own experiences so that they are helpful. I hope they are helpful to the current SSGS applicants. Okay, so let's start with the uh, with the thought that why we are talking about effective communication, and why does it matter, especially for your application, grad school application, or other applications. So the goal of effective communication is, of course, I mean, as you can see in the two pictures I put, that you can say a lot of things, and at the end, you may not mean anything. I mean, you may not have said anything useful. You can just blah blah blah, but on the other way, other scenario is where you communicate effectively, and the purpose here is uh, building professional relationship. Why it is important? Sorry. Uh, yeah. Okay. Yes. And also, you want to stand out from other applicants, because may it's possible that for a grad school position where you're applying, there are hundreds of applicants. And how do you want to stand out from others? So say if they have a very few positions, they want to select 5 students out of 100 applicants. So your effective communication skills can help you to stand out from other applicants. And also, your communication or your initiative may set the right tone for your collaboration. So this is our goal here. And we want you as SSGS scholars or all the attendees. We want, I mean, the goal is of this webinar is to enable you or teach you the skills which you need, so that you can be like the picture on the right side, where you communicate something and the other person listens, right? So that's the goal. Of course, there are many, I mean, on this topic, there are many materials can be found on the internet. Uh, like there are many, this is just one of the traditional 7 C's of communication, that your effective communication, you want it to be clear, you want it to be concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous. So and also you want to be consistent, right? So you don't want to say anything which is wrong. You want to say it very clearly, to the point, very briefly, and without repetition. You want to be coherent, and your some part of your communication does not contradict with the other part of communication. So these are the examples, and we can elaborate on each point if needed. But yeah, for now, I just wanted to mention the various aspects of effective communication. Now, since our goal in this webinar, mainly our most of the attendees are applicants, they will be applying to grad school for masters, for PhD, or some other position. So this is a very random example of a, suppose if you are a PhD applicant, how do you, I mean, before reaching out to a prospective advisor, your first step will be to read about the professor or PI or employer. I mean, whoever, I mean, you came to know about a position, your first step will be trying to read about, try to learn about what that person do, the employer, professor, or PI do, and how does I mean, how does he run his group, his or her group, and what kind of work they do. So for that, you should for Google search, you can search in Google, or you can simply, if you know his web page, so go to his web page, or in the job advertisement, if you come to know about links. So just go through their web pages. I mean, a professor can have both university web page and also a personal web page. Just read those web pages and look for latest developments, what kind of work they are doing. So for example, you can read about, this is just a random example of a person who is a, I think, biology professor, sorry, physiology professor. And you can, for example, you look at his go to his website, also read about what kind of work he's doing, his position. And also you can, for example, if this is the latest research paper, or not one, but multiple, his latest research papers you can read to understand that what kind of work they're doing. And you can also find out what is your interest, and whether your interests align with their some of their publications or works, and you can note down their about their collaboration work. So at first step, you will be reading and collecting information about the professor, prospective advisor. Okay, so this is the first step before we start about communicating, because before you want to, I mean, gather information about the person with whom you will be reaching out to. Okay, next is how should you reach out to the faculty. Okay, so the first step, as I mentioned, that first that your first step is to take notes. So provided you have researched the individuals, I mean, at first, I mean, if we assume that you have already researched their individuals, their profiles, your fit, whether you are fit to the research group and you're familiar with the research, after that, we can start our work. Okay. So how should I draft my emails if I am going to write to a professor? So you need to leverage the information you have collected by reading faculty's publication, research statements, web pages, all and funding statements as well. We can, I mean, you can you should try to read whatever information is available there. And yeah, and you should use all this information when writing the email. You can keep the email short and to the point. Of course, you need to, that's our goal. We need to have it short and to the point. But we can also connect the dots. What dots you should connect? Your correspondence or communication should reflect a few things, including but not limited to your interest in the field, how the faculty's research fits with your research interest, how your past experiences or interests fits with the lab research. Okay, and also you can also note down that what directions the research group is going into. For example, when web page, a professor may write that, okay, in the coming years we are thinking in doing this, blah blah blah. So that's also a good point, that okay, they are planning to do the following in the coming years. So whether that goal or their direction aligns with your interest, so you should connect all these dots basically before writing. And yeah, another important question: when to reach out? So some people say, okay, 2 months before application deadline. I personally I mean, I advise my mentees that you to apply to contact professors only after when you meet the application criteria and ready to apply. Uh, to explain my point, for example, some university is requiring GRE score of 330. Just for example, assume, and you have not taken GRE, you are still preparing. Say after GRE, you communicated with that person, and their department has a very strict requirement 330, and you score 310 or 315. I hope you all of you do very well. I mean, that's our hope that all of you do very well in GRE and TOEFL and all the tests. But I'm saying if you just fail the requirement, the strict requirement, there all the communication, all the way time you spend, all have been wasted, right? So to not to waste your time and the professor's time. So my personal recommendation is at least when you are sure that you are not failing any strict requirement, at least you meet some of the application, requirement or criteria, then you can start applying. Then it will save your time and the professor's time. Okay, but 2 months time, we hope that before 2 months deadline, before deadline, you already have the test scores and you know where you fulfill the requirement and criteria. Okay, and then you can start. So this is a roughly good time, but yeah, my personal suggestion is try not to waste your time and professor's time. Yeah. Now, before you start the email writing, communication in email, so these are some of the don'ts which you should not do. Okay, so I at first I listed the some of the things you should not do. Then I will show what you should do. Okay. So first thing you should not do is don't use a generic email template. Say, for example, you wrote a single email and you are just sending it to everyone. Dear professor, I'm interested in research. This is too generic. Please don't do it. Personalize. Personalize where you are writing, why you are writing. And don't write a very lengthy email. For example, you should not like narrate your life journey. For example, dear professor, my journey started 20 years ago. I first learned it to crawl and dot dot blah blah. So you should not say, I mean, write all these things, because a professor, they are very is a very busy person, right? They don't have time, and they can be very irritated by such things. And don't be too informal, like, hey, prof, what's up? Can I have a PhD position in your lab? Loads like all the kind of this kind of language which you may use with your friends or very informally. So don't use such language. Be respectful, be professional, and don't focus on what you want. Just you cannot you should not say that I want to join a group because it will benefit my career, or you should not send incomplete or irrelevant information. Okay, so yeah. And we also CV, when you are attaching CV, the CV can be generic, so it should be tailored towards application. So if you just send very generic things where with lots of information which doesn't have any relation to the application, so yeah, that also you should not do. Now, also, you should not overestimate your expertise. You may be a topper, or you may be gold medalist, and you can be very, very bright person, and maybe all your friends praise you a lot, but you should not say like, I'm the basically next Einstein, but with better hair. Need a research genius? Look no further. Here I am. So you should not, you should not. I'm just a over too much overestimate, but I'm just the purpose of saying is that you should not overestimate yourself. You should not say something, I'm expert in everything related to your field, etc. Okay, you should not say like that. So be humble, just be honest about your skills and experiences. And also don't forget to proofread, because sometimes you just send an type something email random very fast from your phone and say you spelled wrong, Is this an example? Some interested, you're, and these are some examples of sometimes, yeah, some people do such mistakes, typing typos. Don't be impatient. Say if you send an email and you were just waiting for the reply, and you should not just say, "Hey, it's been 24 hours and no reply." You should not, I mean, send follow-up emails daily. Okay, they are very busy persons, and you should not expect them to just reply to you right away. And don't demand or assume. Okay, just you should not say that please call me at my number. This happened with one of my mentees. I can share my personal experience. Few years ago, one of my mentees, I asked him to write to professors, and he was writing regularly, and he was telling me that Wasikul bhai, I'm not getting a reply. At first I asked him to wait, to be patient, but after a while, he said it has been 2, 3 weeks and no one is replying. I said, if no one is replying, there must be something wrong in your email. Just show me your email. And when he showed his email draft, which is has been sending to many professors, I was shocked. It has some line that he said that if you are interested, call me at this number. Call me at I mean, I tried to, I mean, intended to say that I am available to talk to you over a phone or over a phone call or over a chat, something like that. But the way he wrote that a particular one sentence, of course, I mean, people will not be, should not, I mean, it is expected that they will not respond. I just fixed one line, and from the next day, he started getting all the replies. Okay, so you need to really proofread, and that ensure that you are not writing anything which is demanding or the professors may not like. And also don't ignore instructions. For example, if they reply and they say that, okay, check out this process at these links, and you just ignore the instructions, that also you should not do. Okay, now let's come to the points of do's, what you should do, how you should proceed while writing. So the first thing you should do is research the prospective supervisor, advisor, PI, whoever you are writing to. So, and you do familiarize yourself with their work, and then you tailor your email accordingly. For example, you can say, I have read your recent research paper on certain topic. I am fascinated by your approach on particular area. Okay, something like that. When you write to them, personalize the email, and uh, also just as I'm mentioning in do lists, that mention names. Just don't write, dear professor, give me a position. Don't do that. Just write, dear doctor or professor, last name. Writing to you. I mean, just use the last names, their names. This kind of a personal touch, and they may there is higher chances they will reply. And introduce yourself briefly. And this is a very important point of communication. Often, when we just communicate not only by email but also through while talking to phone, talking over phone, or I mean, at first you should introduce yourself. That who, I mean, just don't jump on. I mean, just starting on the main point, main topic discussion. So you say, okay, my name is this, and I am currently this degree student from this university. Where this university also you should mention. You should not say AMU, because from AMU, American professor may think of American Military University or something else. Okay, so you should not expect that everyone will be familiar. I mean, will be familiar with your all the abbreviations. And also, so you should introduce yourself properly. You should mention from where you are writing, and also you should highlight relevant skills and experiences. Like, I have experiences with these tools, techniques, methodologies, which align with the work being done in your group, something like that. And you should state your purpose clearly. I mean, for example, if you are a PhD applicant, you should say this example, that I'm keen to pursue a PhD in this particular area under your supervision. You should be straightforward. You should not, for example, you wrote an email and you did not mention that why you wrote. I mean, the professor may be confused. This person is wants to do a undergrad under me, or a PhD, or a master's, or a postdoc, or what? So you should clearly mention what is the purpose of writing your email. Uh, Another also a few other points. For example, you should show some enthusiasm in it for research. If it is not for research position, if it is a teaching position or internship, I mean, this is accordingly. You should show your enthusiasm accordingly, according to the position and the responsibilities. Okay, if you are a teaching position, just show enthusiasm about your teaching skills and how you care. I mean, yeah. And also, you should attach relevant documents. For example, for the first communication, you can attach your CV, because the email should be short. And if the professor is interested, they can just scan through your CV and to have, I mean, a better idea about your profile and your interests. And also, if needed, you can attach or put a link to your latest research papers. The examples, these lines I put for examples. And also be concise and to the point. For you can say, I would appreciate the opportunity to discuss my background and could contribute to your research or anything. So be concise and use professional language, such as this is an example. I look forward to hearing from you and would be delighted to further discuss my qualifications or anything you want to discuss. And of course, you should follow up if necessary. If say 2 3 weeks or 1 2 weeks, it's up to you. I'm not putting a very strict deadline that you should wait 2 3 weeks, but after a certain time, you may wish to follow up and with a very humble and professional language. These are some of the I mean things you should do while communicating through email. Few more suggestions. One suggestion is regarding your email ID. Your email ID, which should be, it should not look like this kind of rockstarbio@gmail.com, shining star, this kind of email IDs. I mean, if it is possible, if you can have an institutional email ID, that's great. If it is possible, have one, or if not, I mean, in the email ID, please don't make this kind of funny email IDs. Okay, just try to make something where you had this your name. Don't put all your date of birth and whole. I mean, yeah. So you just put names, or maybe sometimes your email ID is taken. So maybe, yeah, you can think of alternative. But what I mean is you should be sounding professional. Okay. And subject line is, if you don't choose your subject line wisely, it may simply go to the spam folder of the professor. Okay, and also, as I was mentioning, don't avoid abbreviations or things which the professor may not know. If your name is Shah Rukh Khan, you should not say I'm SRK from AMU. You should spell your name, because the professor may not know what is SRK, what is AMU. Okay, and you should say in detail. So these are some examples that you should remember while writing this email. Okay, and here is one example email, and this is just an example, just a format. Yeah, I don't want you to just copy the exact lines and just replace your name and just send it. So this is a example, the one of the formats which you can use. So the format is subject. You can put like prospective PhD student. If you're MS master student, you say MS student. If you are looking for internship or other positions, you're a postdoc position, you can say prospective postdoc candidate or anything. I'm just giving an example that this subject line will change according to the position you are applying to. Then you will address by doctor or you can I put only, but you can also use professor if it's a professor, and last name. And at first, the first paragraph, you should introduce yourself. And this is an example. You can take a screenshot, or I mean, you can note it down, or I don't know. The recording or the slides may be shared with you as well, I guess, later. So it's up to you. How do you want to note? So yes, at first you should introduce yourself. This is the first part. Then you want to mention that how you found the work. For example, you can say that I have been following your work on this topic, and I'm your this innovative approach. I am impressed by it, and I have been working at. I mean, you can mention all these things. It's totally up to you. In what details you want to mention. It can be short. I mean, I wrote three lines for you. It can be just one line. That's also fine. But you should mention something that how you found their work, and then you should mention your skills that for example during your master's thesis or your some internship or some other degree or other work, you can say I have gained these experiences in these tools, these techniques, these methodologies, which I will be beneficial, right, for your research. So this kind of skills which you have gained, you can mention in another paragraph. And then you can mention that your interest, I'm eager to pursue a PhD in this area under your supervision and starting fall 2025. Say, for example, if you're applying, aiming fall 2025, and you can mention that, yeah, you can, yeah, it's up to you. These are just examples how one can write. And at the end, you should conclude that I will be looking forward to hearing from you. And this also, I mean, you can mention that I'm available to chat over a short Zoom call, Skype call, because if the professor, you should not say like that, the example I gave you, that if you're interested, please call me at this Skype. You should not say like that. You can say I will be available. And yeah, and then at the end you should have your name, and also you should have your signature where you should mention your contact information. So this is also important that at the end your signature should be there as well. Yeah, so this is an example email. What and as I mentioned, you should write on your own in your own language, in your own style. But this is just a example format. Now, what happens if you I all these slides you have learned, or what not to do, what how to write, and examples. What happens when you write an email? What kind of replies you get? So I will be sharing my own experiences. In 2014, around 10 years ago, I was in your shoes, and I was writing emails to professors regularly. What kind of email replies I got? The first reply I got was most common, unfortunately, was no reply. Uh, it's unfortunate that many professors and many people they don't reply, and there is you cannot do much about it. So if you don't get a reply after you write emails, after you put efforts, then what you can do? You can follow up. So what are the follow-up strategies? The first question is when and how to follow up. So in up another previous slide, I mentioned 2-3 weeks. It's totally up to you. You can use 1-2 weeks. I mean, 2 weeks is I would say is a good standard time. Maybe 2 weeks is enough time. So maybe around 2 weeks, you can. I mean, you should wait at least 1 or 2 weeks before sending a polite follow-up email. Polite is important, and be concise and refer to the initial message. For example, this is an example of how a follow-up email may look like. Dear Doctor, this I hope this message finds well. I wanted to follow up on my previous email regarding the possibility of joining a research group as a grad student. Something like that, very humbly, and just a very short a follow-up email. I mean, send a follow-up email, and you again waited, and no response, still no response. What you should do? You should not send multiple follow-up emails in quick succession every few hours. Oh, it has been 4 hours. You have not sent me reply yet. Please don't do it. Okay. And yeah, it should be polite. And say you send two follow-ups after waiting time, and after that you are not getting reply. What you should do? You should simply move on. Okay, move on gracefully. Do not become a very annoying person to them. Okay, this is very important. And yeah, say you did not get a response, you are free to reach to other potential advisor. Maybe in the same university you can find some other professor. Here I can share a personal experience of mine. uh, when I was a MSc student at AMU, I sent an email to a professor and he did not respond. He was, I mean, I was very excited to find an Indian professor from. I mean, I was sitting in India and I was thinking, oh, Indian professor. Okay, he will be. He will take me somewhere. I was very with very hope. Uh, I'm not saying that Indians don't take Indians, but I'm just saying this is just a. Uh, I thought that he would respond because I was writing from India. I think he would respond, but he did not respond. And I waited some time. I sent follow up. He did not respond. And after certain time, I sent an email to another professor who is also from India. And what did they do? They both of them did not respond to me. And then they discussed among themselves after certain time. कोई एक स्टूडेंट है इंडिया से जो हर एक को ईमेल भेजता रहता है. This was so unfortunate. And they discussed about this and they told this to another student who is somehow I mean my friend, and he told me that this happened. So this is very unfortunate, but this will not happen to you. This is just a rare and unfortunate example I gave. But yeah, so this is the lesson is don't don't write I mean at the same time you should not write to two professors on the same research group, because in the same department, or else if they are in the same research group, they keep on talking, they keep talking to each other. They discuss that, okay, I have got email, one student from India, one student from Greece, one student from Italy, this student wrote to me. They keep on discussing these things. So if they find out that you are, I mean, writing to multiple professors at the same time, the same department, then they may not like it. They may think that, okay, this student keeps on writing everyone, so let's just discard him. Okay. Okay. So the first example I show you, no reply, right? And now let me show you how the replies, when they reply, what kind of reply, how do they look? So these are some of my own examples. I throw all the, I mean, thanks to this webinar, I just went to my memory lane. I tried to find all these examples, what kind of example replies I was getting in 2014. So this is a negative reply. I sent this email to some person and he replied that, dear Wasikul, thank interest. Unfortunately, he's writing in 2014. He is writing that he will not have any position until next 4 years. This is very weird and funny, but he wrote me this. Okay. The second person example is, he said that, okay, thanks for interest in joining my group. I do not have any position available right now. Another person, he was from UK, and he was mentioning that I don't have position. I'm waiting for funding. If I get it funding, then I may have position. Then I will reach out to you. But for now, I mean, as long I don't hear from the funding agency, there is no position. Something like that. And also there are some replies you may find which which will be neutral. Some professor will say, okay, please go through the regular channels. Some say that, okay, all admissions are handled through a departmental committee. Please apply through department. And if you apply after you get selected by the committee, then I can take you. Some other person, he was mentioning, he was just giving me suggestions. Okay, specify this subject and give names, list of names, give also my name, and then we will see. So this is also not bad. He was kind of I would say uh little shifted, I mean, shift towards positive. But yeah, this kind of email you get. And also some positive replies I got. For example, this person, another person, he said that, okay, thanks for your interest, I have an opening later this year, not the fall, I was looking for fall. He told me that he will have opening in the spring. And he was just mentioned that theoretical cosmic magnetic fields and blah blah. Just example the project he has, and he told me that, okay, if you are interested, let's I could take into your application, I will account and we can. So basically he showed positive interest. And here is another example which is a very straightforward, I mean, very good positive, highly positive email that they are still, thanks for your interest and email, I would be very happy to be your mentor and your PhD supervisor. Kindly look at my webpage for more information. So these are some of my replies which I got. As I said, most of them I didn't get reply, and which the replies I got of several categories. And depending on what kind of replies you are getting, you should make your follow-up strategy. How do you want to follow up? Now, here is your preparing for response. How do you want to respond? The first option is assumption is that you got a positive response. How do you want to how will you like to respond? So you should, in the follow-up email, you should ask relevant follow-up questions like their current projects, their funding opportunities. For example, you can ask, could you tell me more about current projects you are working on? Because the professor group has a lot of things. They have experiences from the web page is not always clear that what was their current project, right? And so you can ask that what's your current projects and or what's your plan, immediate plan, what your prospective what your new PhD student, what's your plan about your new PhD student? Like you can ask that. And you can also ask, is there any specific key skill or area of expertise you're looking for in a prospective student? You can ask that. And if they offer to schedule a meeting with you or an interview, respond very promptly and suggest a few available times. For example, they say, okay, for a particular day, on the day you may be busy with something, but you should offer multiple time slots so that it is easier for the professor, that person, to choose a good meeting time with you. And well, you should be ready to share detailed documents, such as after response, they may ask you for a detailed CV, or if they can ask you a summary of a research background, what you have done, how it is relevant, all these things. And if you have specific techniques, they may, if you have skills with specific techniques, you should highlight them. Okay, especially if they are related to your prospective advisors' ongoing projects. Okay, you should be ready with all this information. Sometimes I have seen that some professor asked to send, okay, can you send your master's dissertation or MSc thesis or whatever, master's project, whatever you do, can you send a report? They may ask that as well. So you should be ready with those things. Now, what if you get a negative response? What should be your response? You can still drop a thank you email. You can say, thank you, dear professor, for your reply. Okay, so, some professor may not have a position right now, but it's possible that they have a position later. Maybe few months later, they have funding and they may contact you. So it's never bad to build relationships with in academic relationships with these professors. Maybe this person who is not taking you as a student, maybe you will collaborate with, because if that this person is the same field, maybe someday you will meet him in some conference, he will collaborate, or maybe he or she will hire you in postdoc position in few years or some other positions. You never know. So it's always good to build relations, academic relations with different professors. Okay. Now, if you are invited to an interview, what you will do? So at first you should do your homeworks. Okay, and you should, it can be in person for you. The students of AMU, and I guess it would be online. So you prepare thoroughly by researching the professor's labs or research groups, publications, and you be ready to articulate your long-term career goals, how their research aligns with your academic aspirations, what unique skills you are bringing to the group, etc. Okay, and you can also clarify these practical aspects, funding, logistics. You should be free to ask those things. Okay, will I be supported if I join your lab, your group? Will I be supported by RA, research assistantship, or etc. You can ask any this kind of things, questions. And also, another important point, you say, for suppose you got a positive response, but later on you found out that it is not a good fit. Maybe you thought that, okay, this group, but they are working some other topic which you don't like, or it doesn't match with your interest. So you should be polite and respectful, and you should decline. It's also totally fine if you just decline a position, but you should be respectful. Now, apart from emails, beyond emails, also you can communicate with prospective advisors, and you can build relationships. For example, you can engage at conferences and workshops. Of course, if you are reaching to American professors, you may not, and you are in India, you may not have chances to, I mean, meet in the conferences, workshops. You may have, but the chances are low. But sometimes many American professors, they also visit to India for many conferences, workshops. If you can, if you can attend the events where they are present or they are giving talks, you can ask insightful questions, and don't afraid to be afraid to introduce yourself after the talk. And also you can talk about your research interests. And after you meet later on, you can send a follow-up email, and you can follow up and say, okay, I made a conferences, and we had this discussion, and I'm really interested to looking for opportunities to collaborate and work with you, etc. This kind of polite follow-up email you can send after meeting. There are some other ways nowadays. Many professors, PIs, they're very active on social media, in LinkedIn, Twitter. So you may wish to maintain a professional LinkedIn profile. And also, if you want, additionally, I will not stress much on Twitter, but yeah, if you are interested, you can on Twitter as well. And you can engage, you can have communications with them about relevant works. And yeah, that's also nowadays it's possible to have, to grab attention of some prospective advisor through social media. Now, summary of the slides which I presented so far is, at first, you should research very well and about the persons or the groups where you want to communicate. You should communicate clearly, and you should follow up politely. You should tailor your message to each prospective advisor separately. You should approach each communication with professionalism, and you should consult with experts or mentors if you need feedback on your communication style or email draft. So those of you who are SSGSA scholars, you have your mentors, right? So you are always you should be free to talk to them, or you can show them the draft, or you can ask their opinions that whether they are fine. You should start sending those this kind of emails. Not you should not send the same email, of course. You should be tailoring it, but you can, at least you can consult about its format with your mentors. And lastly, I would say that learn the skills of good communications and practice it, not only while writing emails to prospective advisors, but in all your interaction and all your communications. Okay, so this all these lessons which you learned, you can apply to anywhere. And last, I would say, I wish you all the best with your applications, and I pray, may all of you, all the SSGS scholars, all of you reach your dream universities and dream jobs. Thank you for listening up to this, and I will be happy to take any questions which you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vasikul bhai. So it was really nice. I really loved your slides, and like it was so full of information, and in fact, like I myself learned a lot of things from your presentation, and uh, I think like okay, there I could see already a question coming from. Can I get the recording? Of course, we will share the recording on our YouTube channel. I'm not sure when, but soon. Like let's say within a week, we should be there. The recording should be there, or even within 24 hours, it could be there, depending on like how much flexible we are with our work. But then, yes, Vasikul bhai, what do you say? Should we go through one by one all the questions in the
Uh,
chat?
yes, we can. Let's answer to
Or,
the questions in the chat first, and then we can open the mic maybe, or if anyone can
yes,
ask.
or maybe if someone has question, they can just raise hand in between. Yes,
Yeah, yeah, please raise hand, and in the meantime, let us answer. Let us see what questions we have in the chat.
exactly. Yes.
So I think Mohammad Ubaid asked, for some universities have waived GRE but suggest to submit the score for scholarship. In this case, how to know the score required? by the universities. Should we contact the professors with GRE or after GRE when we are ready for application? So I mean, as this is one thing I was mentioning at the start, that you should check with your university requirement first. But because if you are talking about US universities, professor cannot do much if the university or the graduate school of the university, they have very strict requirement. They someone wants a GRE 320, and if you don't have GRE at all, so how a professor may be okay with it, I mean, may be interested in taking, I mean, you. But if there is a strict requirement, you are just wasting everyone's time. The professor will not be able to take. In extraordinary situations, the professor can take you. The professor is a very powerful person in the university, and yeah, he has own funding. He doesn't care about, somehow he manages to take you, but this is not a very regular thing. So you should check the university requirement. If for scholarships, you said, yes, yeah, funding, that was a part of the requirement. So yeah, scholarship is important, right? For TA-ship or RA-ship, for that, if they need GRE, you have to take GRE, and after that, but in the meantime, if they have web, you can start your communication. That is totally fine. You start your communication, but you should aim to take the tests and have a good score and meet the requirements before you apply. That will be my suggestion. Uh, okay.
Wasikul
Ahmed,
bhai, you
yes.
can stop sharing your screen so that we could see more of you and less of a presentation, because we are not anymore using the presentation. Yes, thank you. And then we come to the next question. Then this is from Ahmad Javed.
Uh-huh. So question was, we have poor background technical skills, so skill mismatch where we wish to pursue our PhD from. I have an experience in history, basic, maybe even under tools, not relevant. Wish to pursue PhD. How would I put my skills or expertise? Of course, we have a theoretical. Okay, so I would say, Ahmed Javed, that this is a problem not only with you, but many students. For example, when I was a MSc student, of course, with due respect to AMU, we are taught at AMU many things, many tools we are taught which are outdated sometimes. Some of the tools which are, I mean, actively in research field, they may not be using those tools, but you can do whatever, I mean, you are exposed to whatever access, say so it doesn't matter, whatever opportunities or skills were give, I mean, opportunities were in front of you, you use them. So you can just narrate whatever skills you gained, even they are outdated, maybe you learned. And if you have mastered on some skills, even they are outdated, maybe the professors may understand that this person can easily, if he become expert on existing tools, he can be very, in short time, he can gain expertise in some of the new tools. And second thing is, uh, in online nowadays, in online, or I mean, there are lots of scopes to build up your profile, build up your skills. There are many courses, YouTube videos, tutorials. You can just, I mean, go to EDX, Coursera, and many websites. So you can attend many lectures, and you can keep on building your skills. You can learn some, say, programming language. You some learn some programming language, some machine learning tools, and all these things. I mean, you may not have, you may lack in some of the skills, but you may also, the professor may see, okay, this person lack these skills because his university did not provide these things to him, but he learned all lot of new things. So that can compensate.
And Ahmed, just to add on what Vasikul bhai mentioned just now, of course, you should never forget that knowledge is never outdated. Knowledge is there for you from when you have started, when you have gained it till the end of your life. You will have your knowledge always there, and it's never outdated, and it somehow interrelated uh, with your future or advanced version of knowledge.
Okay, I think another question, Muhammad Ubaid
Yes.
asked, when the professor write an email to apply through the university and do not say in the email anything about available position, what should be done? Okay, this is kind of a, I would say, neutral reply. If the professor did not say, okay, I don't like you or don't apply, that means is not negative and just have some hope and try to apply through the university. So it is, I would say that it's a neutral reply. Okay, so it's not say don't apply, I don't like your profile, but also it's not very positive as well that okay, I am interested. So I would say neutral. So if you think that you fulfill the criteria, admission criteria, and you are a good fit, then go ahead and apply. Okay, so there's asked question one, which
Which
journal is good, open access or not, because open access is paid. Okay, this is it is not a very generic answer I can give, because in different fields there are, if you are
different,
engineering,
yes.
yeah, you should check with your experts, your professors. They will be, they may know better. I know in physics side only. Sorry, I cannot answer that. Another question, Samia Khan asks, some universities need an acceptance from a faculty advisor for the completion of the application. It is unethical to write two, three professors from the same department. What if we move on another professor due to time constraint, but receive an email from the first professor we emailed as well? So if in that case, if you reply, if you got a positive reply from one professor, just right away write to other professors and they say, okay, I already, sorry, I got, I mean, I contacted you because I was not getting replies, and I already in touch with that professor, so I decided to work with him. It is totally fine, if you just, but you should inform, you should not like leave it open ended that everyone is thinking that okay, this person wants to work with me. And if one person gave you acceptance, you should just inform others that you, that this your updated status, that I would say. And when you write to two three professors same department, I would say still try to wait, give some time before you write to next person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think like thank you, Vasikul Bhai. And to answer Ahmed questions, I can take an example. For example, I work in the field of computational structural biology, and particularly in our situation, we have this kind of um, we when we want to submit our publication manuscript to a paid so a journal can charge either authors or the readers. So like this is how it works in general with the publication house. So the first of all I want to mention, so this is beyond the scope of our webinar, but because it's asked here, so I will try to give a bit of n- knowledge of what I know. So it's a situation that either you pay or the readers pay. But if the readers have to pay, so it should not be your concern because you are affiliated to some what I want to say to some you are affiliated to some education institute, and they are already buying the subscription to those journals. So you should be able to get the publications copy, or like people who are doing science, they could be able to get the publication copy free of cost. But if you are author of some manuscript and you want to submit in a paid journal, you can get waiver there are some ways how to you can get waiver for your publication. You have to read about that from the journal's website, and you have to also align with your institute's requirement, university's requirement, what are the protocols to get those waivers. And if all goes good, I think both of the ways are doable. So I remember my first publication was together with collaboration with Department of Biochemistry at MU, and the publication fee at plus one was really very high. And then which we told like we were just master's student, and then we mentioned there were two challenges. So I did simulation of 2 nanosecond only, and then people were just saying that it's so, or reviewers were saying it's very short time. But the editor was in our side, and they say maybe they have computational limitation in computer resources, and it worked. And we said that, but then when our paper was accepted, we had to pay the fees. And then we mentioned that okay, we have financial constraints, and then our paper were accepted, and it was online. So you see, you have to deal with each situation as you see it fit, and you should never lose hope, and then keep trying. And in Hindi we say, or Urdu we say, कोशिश करेंगे तो सब कुछ मिलेगा. And yeah, you have to keep on trying. So I was wondering, like, if we have more questions. Is still there? Yeah, I think we have more questions, right? No. Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
If you have
Yes.
any
We
question,
have
please.
we have covered. We have covered questions, I think. So any
Yeah,
more
I'm
questions
saying
we have?
if anyone has, yeah, you can raise, you can
Raise
turn on
hand or
mic.
turn. Yes. Javed has more question.
Yeah,
Yes.
in continuation to my previous question, say for example, there are certain positions that require prerequisite skills, right? Say for example, they ask an experience in mammalian cell culture or something like that, which we do not have inherently due to our different background. But I have seen, of course, people change their backgrounds both in PhD and when they go to postdocs, they keep changing their backgrounds. So how exactly is it that we're supposed to present ourselves to fit into such positions? Like, how exactly do we present our, should we like mention it in our email or should we skip the skills part and have a more comprehensive cover up in our SOP that we are attaching in the email? Like, how is it that we're supposed to cope up with this?
Okay, so if there's a very strict requirement, they want expertise on some particular thing, otherwise they will not hire, then I see your chances. I mean, you cannot do much, right? So, for example, if I am a physics student, I have a PhD in physics, and if I am applying somewhere where they are saying they will need a PhD in chemistry, I cannot do much. I am not eligible. So this is a very straightforward answer. Now, if they are requiring any skill, but you don't have that exactly, but you have something similar, something related, then you can write to the person who is advertising for the job or advisor, and you can ask that, okay, I have this, I'm still very much interested in working with you, but in my university we did not get exposure to such techniques, but I gained this. I hope, and I if given a chance, I'm a very quick learner. I will be very quickly, I can assure that I can gain these skills as well. So this is how you can, this can be another approach. So
I see. Thank you.
Thank you, Wasikul Bhai. One more question, Wasikul Bhai, from my side.
uh-huh.
Please share some information about the background picture.
Oh, background picture. Okay, is someone asking? Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, background picture is, this is the experiment at CERN in Geneva, where our my
Okay.
own experiment is housed
Uh-huh.
in this building
Okay.
underground, 100 meter
This is that's underground,
Yeah, we need to go
100
inside
meter.
this building, and then we need to go 100-meter underground,
Oh,
180
interesting.
around meter, then we'll reach the experiment. So this is
Oh, that's very interesting.
okay. So there's a question is,
There's a follow-up, I guess, yeah,
yes,
from
but
Ahmed.
some professors say that oh, I see.
So
This is
some professors say the money has been paid in the journal, so anybody can publish something like this in the journal. So I think like you have to also consider several factors. Like so there is on Scopus you can check the quality of the journal. Then you have to focus which journal you are going to publish in. It's the like a quartile one, quartile two. Like there are other different factors on which you can measure the quality of every journal. And this is very specific thing from which depend from fields to field. For example, in computer science field, even an impact factor of 2 or 3 is very good considered, but in biology it's almost nothing because there you get impact factor of 10, 12, 15, 20, 30. So it's very specific to your field, and I think your mentor, your SSGSA mentor, I'm sure who must be from the same background as you are, should be able to answer your question to the best regarding your publications. With that said, I would like to invite Sachin, who is here. He's, of course, you know him. He is the chairperson of SSGSA, and he will be really happy to share a few words now. And with his talk, with his words, we will conclude today's session. If we have no more question, then please, Sachin, the stage is yours now.
Thank you, Subha bhai. So first, I would like to really thank Wasikul bhai for doing this lovely workshop on effective communication. Wasikul bhai was my mentor too when I was applying, and he really helped me going through the process. So it's so lovely to learn all this from him, and this was really a lovely, wonderful workshop. And I learned myself more by his slides and his presentations, especially when you mention small points about make just having like a better email, just should not be like have like a something like a srk.gmail.com. It should be like a nice email. And I mean, just to mention, like sometimes along with the email your name also floated there. Like I have seen some of the students, AMU students, have their entry number in that, or enrollment number in that. So please make sure you put the correct name in that. And you're like how to follow ups, and what kind of replies we get. Like sometimes students get excited, oh, a professor replied with 2 lines, and they just tell everyone. Like Pasikul Bhai was telling me like a story when we met last time in Boston about a guy who just received like a normal email, and a lot of things happened after that. So yeah, again, thank you Pasikul Bhai for doing such a wonderful workshop, and also Sabha Bhai for coordinating and conducting such things. So thank you again. And just to mention a couple of things, that we'll be doing a few more workshops. Like we are planning to do one workshop on how to shortlist universities, maybe next month, when you'll be doing shortlisting universities, and then followed up by a workshop on SOP writing. That will really be helpful. So I strongly suggest that please do attend all those workshops. If you have missed any one of our previous workshop, they are available on our YouTube channel. Please visit them. Please share with your friends. All the workshops are completely free. You can share with any of the students, not necessarily in Aligarh. They can be in any of the institutes. So thank you again, Wasikul Bhai. Thank you, Sabha Bhai, and thank you all the attendees for coming and attending the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and all the SSG scholars. I wish you all the best. I hope you get many offers from many good universities and your dream universities, including. So thank you. Bye.